Hey everybody, this is Let Us Say It For You, and I am Lee.
And I am Micah. I am trying to figure out what my name is going to
Mike.
be. Big Mike. That's what I really got. You know what? That's what it's going to be.
That's
I'm going to say
boom.
it every time.
We gotta say it just like that.
Just like that.
Okay, let's do it again. Hey everybody, this is Let Us Say It For You, and I am Lee.
And I am Big Mike.
There
yes.
you go.
Sticking with it.
There you go. Household names right there.
Boom.
Okay, guys, so this is our podcast. It is called Let Us Say It For You because we're going to say a lot of things for you that you may not be comfortable saying.
Boom.
We'll do it.
We
It's
will.
cool. Just call us. We're your girls. The podcast idea came up about 3 years ago. Mike and I would be at my house. We'd have a few
Yeah, we would.
cocktails. And we would just have like the most profound conversations about everything, I think. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mike, I should start a podcast. And you should be my co-host. And she was like, bet.
Let's do it.
And here we are. It took 3 years. But, you know, we're here, baby. Better late than never, baby. So,
baby.
baby.
Blueface, baby.
So here we are. So, well, quick summary, Micah. How was your weekend? You were not here.
So I'm always
ain't
almost
never
never
home.
here. I ain't never. So ATL. Me and my friends have a joke because my mom was getting her doctorate when I was in middle school and a little bit into my high school year, and she was a professor, so she was like she had late classes or whatever. But she was also always out of town, and so was my dad. And ATL. T.I. was talking to that little Sean, and she was like, my mama ain't gonna be here this weekend. You can come over. He was like, your mama ain't never home. That's our little joke because my mother is literally
mama ain't
never home. So we went, I'm originally from Dallas, and we went to Louisiana to visit my mother's mother side of the family. So this was
Good
the
times.
first Davis reunion that I've ever been to, and I think it's the second one they've ever had. And so I have never met majority of these people,
That must have been
and
nice.
so it was great. I think it was more historical this time around than it was when I go to the Harris family reunion. I mean, we were talking to the elders. We had 101 grandma in the building.
Wow.
You know, we were able to ask them questions of how the lineage went and who dated who, how did they meet, what did we do, you know. And I found out that my grandfather and my grandmother met picking cotton.
Damn.
Mind blown. No,
Deep.
they were not slaves,
Oh.
but they were sharecroppers. They worked for white people. And my grandfather was like, I call him Papa, you know. So he was like, yeah, so I saw Bessie, and I was like, I claimed her. I told her I'm a boyfriend. I didn't ask her. I told her.
I know
So
that's right, Papa.
that's how you do it. He
That's
said,
how
yeah,
you do it, young fellas.
I claimed her. So he claimed her, and she said, okay,
She went with
or
it.
whatever. And they had
That's
5
cool.
kids, and the rest is history. So it was very historical. I really had a great time. Rekindled with some of my cousins that I knew since I was like 9. So it was just super dope. Shout out to Kayla. Me and my dog been talking for the past couple of days.
That's nice.
I missed her. So boom.
Cute.
Damn, what you did this weekend?
What did I do with my weekend? You know, every time people ask me this question, I have the hardest time recapping on what the fuck took place. And you would think I had like an eventful one, but I don't think so.
Didn't you go out to eat? Didn't you go to a game night? Stalker best friend.
I did. I you saw my face. I was like, bitch, did I? I did. So Friday, I don't think I did nothing. I kept Mia on Friday. My daughter, her name is Mia. She, her dad has her on the weekends. So usually she goes with him, but she's been bribing me lately to stay. Honestly, not much of a bribe, more like begging because she offers nothing. She just begs to stay. And so every now and then I give her dad a break. I'm like, okay, I'll keep her Friday night. So Friday night, I did nothing. I spent the night with my kiddo. And then Saturday, is that the day I went? No, I went to Brandsmart to get the microphones, the headphones. And then that's when Erica called me. And she was like, come to Kira's girls' night. So I went to the girls' night. Very informative. We must talk about that. It was a good time. And then I was going to go to Tarsha's house. Of course, she didn't pick up the phone. And then calls me back when I'm home on some, no, I fell asleep. Just come over. I done took my bra off and I took my contacts
Dead. You know, ladies.
off,
You know what?
out.
Nope. Can't even say that.
For me, it's contacts. If my contacts are out, right. Anyway. My bra is debatable, but the contacts come out, I'm not putting them back in. So that was it for Tarsha. Didn't see her. And then Sunday is when we went out to eat. And I went to her house for a little bit. And we were supposed to record this episode on Sunday, but someone's flight got terribly delayed. She was supposed to be here by like 9 something. Then it went to 12 something. And what time did you get home?
Because I got home at 3:30 in the morning.
Damn. That's what you get for going out of town?
No, that's what I get for flying with Spirit. Now, quickly, I appreciate the cheapness. I'm so with the frugality before I go out of town because I would like to spend my money elsewhere. You feel me? I get it. I like cheap flights. But airlines, all of you, hear me out. Be more like Southwest. Because when flights get delayed on Southwest, we get $100 vouchers. We get $20 food vouchers. We get a whole month full of drink coupons. And I ain't talking about like no cranberry juice. I'm talking about vodka drink coupons for the free, for the inconvenience. So I'm just saying, I don't know who y'all flying with, but I don't know.
Did Southwest you ever see that meme?
Is what it's.
You ever seen that meme? It was like Spirit be like round trip flight $9. You just got to fly the plane yourself. Boom. And then you just see.
That's it. And like snacks are like $4, which is very like ridiculous. Joke. Mind you, that was a really huge bag of Chex Mix, whatever. Oh but it was $4. But I'm just saying, Spirit always lets me down in that regard. I just need more customer appreciation and compensation when things, go wrong, and it may not be their fault. Weather was the issue.
Yeah, weather, right.
It hailed in Dallas for 30 minutes. Out of nowhere, giant rocks and ice was falling on the windshield, and me and my mom was like, hell. Out of all things, but Dallas get tornadoes.
It really be like that.
And Dallas does snow. So for all of you who think Texas is a state that does not get snow, it does.
You're wrong.
It does.
Well, my rule for Spirit is if the flight's over 2 hours, I'm not flying with them.
Boom.
That's my rule.
That's a good rule.
So Jamaica, where I go the most, is an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, depending. And Atlanta, that is going to be my new go-to spot. It seems I enjoy Atlanta. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yep.
So these little trips,
and the flights be $100.
There you go. You can't beat that with a bat. So maybe I can. But honestly, the 2 times I've gone to Atlanta, the cheaper flight has been something else. Like one time it was JetBlue, and another time when I just went this last weekend, it was Delta. It wasn't Spirit. Spirit wasn't even on there. And I think it was on there eventually, but by then it was like $200. And I'm like, no. So,
it depends on the time of the year, too.
Yeah, I guess I did it at a decent time, so I got a decent flight. But, not complete. So that's the thing. Spirit, get your stuff together.
Just look out for the people who got stuff to do the next day.
Boo.
6-hour layover.
Yeah,
come on,
wild.
bro. I need a voucher. I don't want to spend my money because you messed up. And I don't want to spend my money because weather. Figure it out. Y'all need to work something out together. Get another plane. Something.
Okay. So, what I did do this weekend, which I'm guessing was Saturday night when I did not go to Tarsha's house, is I finally watched When They See Us. I watched it. So, I didn't want to watch it. I don't handle Black people getting mistreated movies well, right? Which, but honestly, we talked about this before. I'm better at watching movies like this than slave movies. I just don't want to see any slave movies. Whereas you prefer watching the slave movies. You don't really like movies like these or documentaries like these or whatever.
No, I like. I watch them all.
Yeah,
I am caught up maybe on every movie that has come out. When They See Us is the only one that I opted out not to watch. Because I already heard about what happened. I visually didn't want to see it. But I also know when I see things like that, it evokes certain things out of me that I was not...
understandable.
I didn't want to go there. So I chose not to. And, yep.
So, for me, slave movies, even like... maybe not slave, is like really really segregated movies, like way back in the day. Not even this Central Park 5 situation.
So before segregation.
Like way back.
1960s,
those
1950s.
I can't, things like that. Again, like you say, they provoke a lot of thought in me. And then I have a really hard time dealing with white people after I see movies like that. And I work with white people. Yeah. So I just kind of feel like I need to pick and choose when I do these type of things. Yeah. When I watch these type of movies, documentaries, whatever. Because they just really, really mess with me. And my mood is just thrown off for a while. So with this particular story, I knew the story. So it wasn't a shock. You know what I'm saying? But it was still a shock just to see just how poorly these little boys were treated. Like, it was super fucked up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if you see, I was preparing myself for the fourth one because everyone told me that one's like the worst. You're going to cry the whole, from beginning to end. So I'll say this. I did cry. But I prepared myself for extremely visual things, and it was more implied. Right. What probably happened instead of really actually seeing it.
Like Trayvon, like Michael Brown, like all the implications are what pisses you off. Yeah,
the implications. But for me, just not having to visually see it made it a little bit easier. There's a particular part. I don't know how all the guys involved, they all seem to be fine with the story because they were all there. They told their part, I would assume. I see them with Ava DuVernay all the time, so they seem to be content, whatever. But there's a particular part in it where basically one of the guys, the fifth guy, Corey. Corey was the oldest one. He was one that was 16, and he got charged as an adult. And he's the one that got sent straight to adult prison. Right. He also served the longest, right? And then the biggest part about that was when they were like rounding little black kids up, like, okay, he was on the list, Corey wasn't on the list. His friend was on the list. So it's me and you, and they're looking for you. Right? And so you're Micah? Okay, cool. We need you to come down to the precinct, whatever, have a talk. And I'm just with you. And so they're just like, well, what's your name? Well, you want to come down for a little bit? Come with your friend? And so he was just like, no, bitch, I don't. But his friend looked at him and he was just like, bro, don't let me go by myself. Like, he gave him the look like, come on, like, whatever. So Corey was just like, all right, all right, cool. I'll come down there with you. Your mama gonna kill me if I don't. That was it. Got locked up for the longest. Got sent to adult prison. Yeah. Had the worst shit happen to him just to help his homeboy out. Yeah. To me, that's not even the worst part. So they did the whole documentary and they explained it. The fourth one, let's say the episode was 60 minutes. About 45 of it was just about him. When the other guys are already out, the other four boys are already out, they're men at this point. They're just kind of like, dang, we don't even know where Corey at. You heard about Corey? Did Corey get out? Nobody knows where Corey is. Nobody's talked to Corey. The impression I got from it is nobody went looking for Corey. The only person that visited him was his mom. She couldn't go all the time because wherever he was kind of far. And these are black families that aren't wealthy. I would say a lot of them didn't really know the law. Everyone just had to be at work, you know what I mean? They didn't expect it to escalate that far and their kids get locked up forever, whatever the case is. But with Corey, I feel like he definitely got like the shittiest end of the stick because I honestly kind of got the vibe that nobody really cared. Yeah. And basically there's one part where the mom of Corey is just like, see if your son, the son that was his friend, see if he can like write him a letter or something, just keep his spirits up, it'll really help him in there, he's in maximum security, blah blah blah. And the other mom is just like, I don't got time for that, like, no, they can't do that. So she had a valid reason. Her point was they're felons, and I guess they can't interact with each other because they're both felons or something like that. And her son was still locked up at the time in another, or either juvie or something. And she was like, look, if he keeps behaving, he'll be out in a year. So I got to keep him on that good behavior track or whatever. And so the other mom was just like, I mean, we could do it for him, though. Like, you can give me a letter. When I go visit him, I'll give it to him. Let him give me a letter. We do it that way. And the mom was like, sis, no. But good luck with him, though. Like, I hope he's all right. And so she just kind of left. They never really got along. And that was just really hard for me to take because the poor kid is locked up on the strength of he just went there to, like, so his friend wasn't by himself. Like, he went there so his friend wasn't by himself. And because the system is so fucked up and these people were determined to lock up these 5 kids, he got sentenced the longest and got the most brutal punishment, in my opinion, off just being there for his homeboy. And nobody reached out. Nobody sent letters. Nobody called. It showed that on his mom. Now, mind you, he never portrayed any bitterness in what I saw. And I always see pictures of the actual guys together. So maybe it isn't as cold as it seemed to me. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, you don't care about this. Like,
so one thing I would say about, the black community in general, when it comes to the law, either we're afraid of it or we know nothing about it. So fear sets in, and I'm sure the mother, I'm not sure, like, you don't know how it went, so you're always speculating. So what I'm thinking is she not necessarily did the right thing, but she did what was best for her kid.
That was definitely what she was
So at the end of the day, it's like mother bear has a cub. Mother bears don't play. If anybody knows animals, they know the most vicious mother in the wild is the bear. And she don't play about her cubs, and it's like all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to cases like this, like, they handle them loosely, and they try to pick and choose things that will fit along with their story, and whoever gets caught up in the crossfire just gets caught up. And so with this story, it's like many other stories, right? And it's been kids younger than Corey that get caught up in crap like that and get charged. Like, even the kid that was playing around with his cousin in Broward County, he did a wrestling move, and she ended up dying. And he got sentenced for murder. Mind you, they were playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he had a mental situation as well, which they totally disregarded and charged him as a man. He was sitting in the Broward County jail for a long time until he turned 18, and then they sent him off. They didn't treat him like a minor at all. They didn't treat him like he had a mental disorder. You know what I'm saying? But if other has a mental disorder, they take that into consideration before anything.
They mentioned that a lot in the documentary. It was just like, they always say boys will be boys, but when they say that, they're not talking about us. You get what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
and
definitely.
that was like, oh gosh. Guys.
And so
it's so sad.
Stories like this, it's just, I went to Florida A&M University, and I was taught by black professors. It was a whole black experience. So stories like this now, I've heard and seen tons of documentaries my whole matriculation through college. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I have I'm not going to say I have a stomach for it, but I'm not as riled up as people are getting now. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of this stuff, like, I'm so proud of how many African-American descent, African-American, Negro colored, however you identify, whatever you identify as. I'm really proud at them trying to band together and find some oneness and be together in times of, like, despair and Black Lives Matter. Like, I am so for this ride. Everybody keeps saying it's a phase, it's a fad, it's a trend. I don't care what it is. It's supportive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just on board for that. But because I've heard stories like this, and because I know closely how these things work and how frivolous and just total disregard that the kid is a kid because of the color of his skin, it's sick. 12-year-olds are looked at as grown men to a lot of law enforcement. Honestly, a 7-year-old in some cases is looked at as a grown man. You know what I'm saying?
A little black boy.
And so,
he was 8. I read that yesterday.
Yeah.
The officer handcuffed him. He said he didn't realize he was 8.
Yeah. And okay, yeah, some of us are a little, bigger than others. And I've been tall since the first grade, so I can see how I come off as an older kid, but kid nonetheless. I'm a child, regardless. So things like this, I didn't watch it purposely. I saw a lot of articles. I knew the story already. I saw a lot of the feedback that people were giving. I saw the sad stories and crying. And I also saw, on the other end, people saying, you guys, you knew this story already, but now that we are, seeing the characters and putting 2 and 2 together and actually kind of like reliving what they went through, now we're in an uproar. But once the uproar is over, what's going to happen? And so I also saw someone that says, I feel y'all, I know you're upset, but what are you going to do about it? Like, what could possibly be your solution, or what cause can you be a part of? What organization can you donate to?
I have mixed
how
feelings.
Could you?
I have mixed
how can
feelings
you be a
about
part of
that.
it?
I have mixed feelings about that because it's almost hate. This is why I don't like watching slave movies or anything like that, because I just feel really defeated after I see them. Like things like this just make me sad, because this happened years and years and years ago, right? And then
it's still happening.
Right. That's the unfortunate part. It's still happening.
Right.
They're literally just killing black kids for no reason, locking them up for whatever, and they're getting away with it effortlessly.
And we'll come back to the no reason, because I have brief
right. Oh, well, right. So these things kind of make me feel defeated, and this is kind of why, like, I'm over slave movies. I'm not saying that story doesn't need to be told. I'm just saying it's been told. I saw, like, some of the strongest slave movies at a very, very young age. And and Roots. We saw these movies like 6 and 7.
Right.
So I get it, right? And I personally don't want to see any more because of how it makes me feel. But at the same time, and I feel the same way about stories, not really stories like this, because this to me just kind of, I think this one has become more of a police-related thing. Police and just the color of your skin, you get treated poorly. Right. So as much as I hate stories like this being told, I feel like at the risk of making me feel defeated or whatever the case may be, it may wake some people up to make them feel like, damn, I didn't know it was this bad. Whether it lasts 2 days, whether it lasts a week. Right. The benefit out of this for me is that the 2 women that were involved in locking these kids up are getting, like, everything's getting taken from them.
Right.
And they had a point in the movie where there were 2 women that were going to get the case, 2 detectives. And the one who kept hollering about these animals, the one that actually got it, the Linda lady, I believe her name is, she was up against some other woman, and she was just like, you're doing a lot right now. Like, let's just look at the facts first, right? And so she went and had a speech in front of all the officers, and she said, like a punchline, these animals did this. How many other women got raped that night? How many other victims are out there? And everybody was like, damn, you're right, lady. So the other detective was like, all right, it's your case. And she left. 10, 13 years later, when the actual killer confessed, they came to her, the other lady, and was just like, we want you to take this case. She was like, this same case? And so she did all the things with this other guy, and they were just like, how the fuck did they convict these kids? Like, the story was this. When did the narrative change? And so she said, I was there when it changed. So she went to this woman, had a talk with her, and explained that these kids didn't do it. And she was like, no, that just means there were 6 guys that did it. He was the 6th guy. That's all it means. That was her story. And so she laid all the lady books out in front of her, and she was just like, while you were writing all these books, these 5 young men were in prison. This bitch said, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Right. You shouldn't be either. Got up and walked off. Right. I can't explain how happy I am. This bitch is losing everything. Yeah. She's losing everything. And so far, that may be the only outcome on that. But what it does kind of show people, I think, is that when black people decide to come together and just be against something, it kind of seems to work. And maybe that is the benefit of this situation, right? Right. When we all band up and just, because the lady can't stand Ava, I'm willing to bet money she's going to somehow file some type of lawsuit. Some way, emotional distress, some shit like that. Like, I can imagine. Because she's losing everything. They're taking her plaques down. She's getting removed from Hall of Fames. All type of shit.
But, I mean, it is what it is when you do and say what privileged people do. And I think at the end of the day, it's just privilege. It's believing that you are untouchable. It's believing that above all things, you cannot be touched. And that is the gift and the curse of being privileged. So when I was, when you were talking about, it may not have been their fault and things like that. So things like this bring conversation in the black community. And one thing that I have been saying since police brutality has been happening, it is a way that we need to purposely and intentionally teach our children how to act with adults and police. Period. So my thing is, the stereotype of black mothers is don't let nobody tell you nothing if it ain't me. Don't let nobody touch you if it ain't me. Like that is like the stereotypical black woman. No one reprimands you but me. But that is the messaging that you respect no one but your mother, right? For those who say whatever they say. True. So, which is not understandable. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has the right and not everybody has the right mindset to reprimand children. They don't. Some people say very hurtful things that will destroy a whole child's life. You know, some people are just not meant to interact with children in that way. But when it comes to the high levels that we've been seeing since Rodney King about police brutality, there is a way to respond to an irate, a ridiculous, prejudiced cop. There's a way to deal with it, and it's respect. And I know there are a couple of cases that were done where men have been respectful and still gotten the worst, but they're not dead. You get what I'm trying to say? So when a police stops you, like the show, the movie The Hate You Give, prime example about how a father or a mother should prepare their children for the world we live in, and not being too forward and not being negative. No, this is realistic. This is how things go. When a police approaches you and you did nothing wrong, don't act like you did anything wrong. Sir, no, look them dead in the face. Don't look down. You're not ashamed of anything if you did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's a way that you respond. And if they're getting all, oh, so you think you're smart? No, sir, I don't think I'm smart. You can think this is a master slave mentality if you want, but it's going to keep you alive. It is a way that you respond to these police who are being just taking their power to the next level because they can. You know what I'm saying? So the messaging that parents need to have with their children when it comes to the police, not just black mothers with black boys. This is in general. This is all ethnicities, all backgrounds that are not white. I'm sorry to say that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, so you just have to look, respect. If don't run. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. And we need to teach responsibility and accountability. If you stole something, you stole something. You need to go to jail. Period. Baby. That's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? And I understand certain situations happens in the family. You feel like you have to be the man of the house, which I can also breach off because black mothers, I feel, put too much pressure on little black boys, but that's just how I feel. We can table that discussion, but in general, a respect needs to be taught and needs to be explained to these kids who are dealing with these police who don't have the ability or the discernment to determine whether they're men or women at 11 or 8.
I saw a video last night. It was a police officer. He was trying to get out of his car, whatever. There was 50 black kids dousing this man with water guns. Maybe he came to shut down a block party. Water all over him nonstop. And I'm like cringing. I stopped and just kind of went to go read the comments. I read maybe 10 comments. And every comment was, well, at least it's just water. They be killing us. It's no big deal. I commented and I said, they kill us for less.
Right.
And this kind of ties into what you said about just kind of having respect for the situation. I can easily see a situation like that escalating. There was a situation that happened a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where like they literally, it wasn't in Coral Springs or something, where they like slammed some kid like face down, and I don't know what they were doing. But they didn't seem as rowdy as these bunch of fucking kids.
It was the last day. It was seniors. They was leaving. This the last day of school for seniors.
It goes into what you were saying about just having respect for certain situations. I'm not sure what made them feel like that was okay. But all I'm picturing is him pulling a gun out and somebody getting shot. And it would have been fine. I saw this today. A black family, a 4-year-old little girl, stole a doll. The police followed them, pulled them over. If you see the video and hear the video, it's wild. The dad, I guess, gets out the car, hands up. The officer is screaming at this man. He takes him, slams him on the car, kicks the man's leg. The man falls damn near. The other officer goes, guns drawn, tells the woman to get out the car. The woman gets out of the car holding a little girl, and another little girl came out, and I guess that's the one, the 4-year-old, that's the one that took the toy. And when he sees the kids, he puts the gun away. But the other dad's cussing me. He was just like, whenever I fucking say something, you better fucking do it. You're what the fuck? So he's going off. And this is all because the little girl took a doll from the store. The captain or whatever, whoever's in charge of the police department over there. He was just like, we're going to review the video to see if excessive force was used. Someone across the street was recording all this. You see and hear. Mm-hmm. And you're going to investigate to see if excessive force was used.
Yeah. But my thing is, this is America, y'all. Like, let's just be completely real. Let's be completely just, it is what it is. And my thing is, we cannot control what scary, power hungry, power tripping people in power do. We cannot control what they do. We can control what we do, right? So regardless of whatever, he came out the right way. Hands was up. Didn't even matter. So like I said before, you can teach your children respect. You can teach them to understand when to raise their voice, how to use their tone, how to say yes sir, no ma'am. Like we can do all the necessary things, but the way America was built, it's not for us to be civil. It's not for us to be handled with decency, to be completely honest. I have seen other rant and rave at a police officer and nothing happened.
I saw a white man wilding one time.
Yeah, nothing happened.
And yeah, he was just like, "You're treating me like I'm black."
And my thing is,
did you see that one? You're treating me like I'm black.
And I haven't seen that one, but I've seen another one.
I'm gonna find it for you.
And they literally say, "Give me your badge number because this is ridiculous." And they actually ran the red light. That is privilege right there in your face. So
yeah, it is.
I'm just cut and dry. This is a complete conversation that needs to happen in the black community. But I think above all else, respect for adults in general will take care of respect for police. No, they do not treat us the greatest. And when you're stopped, you probably do have an attitude because you got all these stories circulating in the back of your head. You got all these people that have died in your family for no reason, that have been taken to prison for no reason. We got a lot of trauma serviced and circled around policemen. And I know when you get stopped, all of that comes up. Because for me, first, I can't breathe. I'll take you through the steps. First,
do you still get pulled over?
I don't get pulled over. I haven't had it taken in like 3 years, and it's off my record. I have really, really great insurance rate because it's not on my record. She used to get
pulled over all the time. Her tally days.
I used to slide from Tally to Lauderdale, and honey,
I had to rack them tickets up, honey.
So, first thing I feel when I get stopped by police is anxiety. Not because I'm gonna die, but because I don't want to pay a ticket. So anxiety. I instantly have to poop. Dang, what is that? Crap. So I pull over. All right, cool. I have everything in one place, and I just wait until they come to. I have my hands on the wheel. Excuse me, hands on the wheel. I wait till he asks me or tell me, "Do you know what you did wrong?" I hate that. I hate that question.
Forgot my face first.
Sir, you pulled me over.
Right,
you tell me what I did.
Damn.
So yeah, like I know the stages, but I know for some, it's anger is the first thing, regardless if you did something wrong or not. It's anger, and then after anger, depending on how slick mouth the police is, that will gauge how slick mouth you get back. But you can't afford that. You can't afford it. And so I think our pride needs to be put to the side. And I know it sounds like slave and massive mentality, but this is the way the world is, y'all. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we have to go there. Yes, sir, no, sir. I'm sorry. I am really sorry, but this is the way things have to be until there is a shift. And I'm not sure what's going to cause that shift.
Right, that's what people say, yeah, you're outraged right now, but what are you going to do this and this? I don't even know where to begin. Yeah. I watched the whole Trayvon Martin thing years ago, and I was so sure dude was going to get locked the fuck up, and he didn't. And he's been showing his ass literally ever since. For me, I guess that's the first case that I was like really, really invested in. And then to me, it just got worse and worse after that.
Just teach your kids respect, bro. And
just so they can come home. Like, that's really all it comes down to.
And you know what? That police that was probably getting sprayed up by those kids, there is police in neighborhoods that live in the neighborhoods that they service, and they are good with the community. So, police officers, this is not a bash towards you. For those who are doing wrong and power tripping, this is a conversation for you. But I know a lot of police officers that live in the communities they serve in. And so that is the point. That's what policemen used to be that way. Right. Police used to serve the area that they lived in. And because you know the people, it's easier to say, oh, that's just knucklehead
Yeah,
Terrence. Let me go talk to his grandma. You know, like, they are living away from our community. They are ostracizing themselves because they feel like they're above, or they feel like it's dangerous, whatever. You're a police officer. Protect is the main point of your job. So my thing is, the wrong people are being placed in power, and they're being policemen by default. They don't want to really protect and serve. What they really want, because I feel like they've been bullied their whole life, they're ready for some power for whatever reason. You know, it's like small man complex. No, shout out to small man. I mess with y'all, Juno.
They
but
love her.
I'm just saying, Juno, at the end of the day, we cannot control who they keep allowing to be police officers, and they are going to continue to, let them off. And just let them go and give them severance and blah, blah, blah. And lifelong, oh, he going to be in the office. He ain't going to be on the streets. Like, that's just the way it is. And we have to continue the conversation. So when it goes back to slave movies, some kids still need to see that. You've had enough. I feel like I've had my fair share. I like seeing them because, the whole supporting the whole black actress thing. That's the real reason why I push myself to go to those things, especially if a black man or woman directed it. It's more so for that, but this is not new.
I see the importance of them because, again, like you said, there's a lot of people that still need to see them. So that's why, at the risk of making me feel just so sad for a couple of days, I like to believe that it'll awaken something in somebody else. Someone who wasn't informed, or someone. I wasn't outraged when I saw this because I knew the story, but it is still just really sad to see.
Yeah, it is.
And my plight was for Corey. I was like, I felt for him, like that. I guess bothered me.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. Yeah, and a lot of people are getting let go.
Did you? I just saw two guys served, like, was it 40-something years?
42 and 38. So this has been happening forever. Honestly, it's just a new way of dealing with it, and until other white people get over the shame of what this country was built off of, and they get off of their high horses and understand that what's fair is fair, things like this are going to continue to happen. And my hope for the African American community, black, Negro, colored, however you identify, because I know it's a lot of them titles floating out there, however you identify, you just need to know that unified is the best way to go. We may not agree with the way that we do things, but we definitely need to get on one accord. And for all you saints out there, all you Christians, it's a scripture that says, when two are gathered, y'all know the rest. Right. So do what y'all have to do, to figure something out, at least for our kids' sake, because it almost feels like they get the worst end of the stick because they have so much more life to live. And if you can correct something at 14, they have a better chance of surviving.
Somehow these type of topics always came up, and I always gave Micah credit for I give Micah credit like every birthday for making me a nicer person than like my default setting. She makes me a nicer person than I would have been, because she there's just certain ways that I haven't thought about things. So these type of discussions will probably try to find their way in. I would like to make this my contribution to any black person that's listening, which as far as I know, it would mainly be black people listening at this point. But just my contributions, and for other for any other that would listen. I mean, maybe this will help. And Miss Duvernay did put Mr. President, his ass was in it, and she put him in it, and she put his little video snippet saying, we should kill him. Took out an ad. I don't know if it was the New York Times or whatever, but he took out an ad in the newspaper, basically saying these kids should be killed for this. What happened to that woman was terrible. She literally was just left for dead. The only thing is they didn't do it. It was one guy, and they blamed it on 5 kids. And so what happened to her was terrible, and I definitely understand that.
We are.
What?
Is it 1/5 of a human being?
Okay, so what is it?
So
Do the
technically,
math.
they did need 5 to make a person.
Okay, maybe
If we
that's
want to
how.
go there, okay, go
Maybe
ahead.
that's how Trump saw it.
Just thought
But he went off, and one of the mom that was just worried about her son, she brought him up again, and she was just like, "This man want to kill my son," and she was the mom that was on some. I know my rights. I know what you can and cannot do. You cannot have my son here. He's a minor. And he's the only one, I believe, that didn't give a confession tape because he just kind of kept it saying, like, I don't know what happened. And his mom got him before.
Yeah.
Yes, I did cry. Terrible story, but a good story to hear nonetheless. Okay, we got to get off this. This was stressing me out, girl. Okay, there's this show called The Boondocks. And it was my fave show. And it is returning. What? Season 5 is coming back. Yes, I saw it and almost did a backflip, girl. I was quite excited. Could not
turn up,
be happier. And I was waiting for that show to come back because if you've ever watched that show, they touch on so many things. They had a whole R. Kelly episode. He ain't been rocking with R. Kelly for a long time. And valid point, his whole episode about R. Kelly was, we've seen this man piss on a 14-year-old girl. And black people defend him to the end of time. Literally. So that's how ignorant the episode is, but it was perfect.
Interesting thing about that. So
yes,
it's just so unfortunate, you know, that these horrible people make great music. That's just what it is, right? You try to detach the person from the music, which you can. But in all actuality, you're still supporting them, so you shouldn't.
Well, can you?
Michael, I mean, some people can. And I think that's what the majority of people who rocking with R. Kelly is like, bruh, Step in the Name of Love will forever be their favorite song. And they've separated the character from the person who, they separate the character from the music. But this also leads me to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson has been accused of this for a while. Now, me and my mom don't believe Mike did it. That's me and my mama. And I think because my mother is a therapist and she knows what happens psychologically to children who suffer from trauma of different types. It's abusive, emotional, things like that. And we all knew how he grew up. I don't know who saw the Jacksons, the movie. I love that. I love that movie. I could watch that 1,200 times. But if you can separate the person from the music, but we're only bashing R. Kelly, we're not bashing Michael. Some people are, but majority of people that I hear, even when I say, what about Michael? He ain't do it. Yeah. He ain't do it. Nah, he ain't do it. You know.
Did you watch both documentaries?
I didn't.
I watched both.
I didn't watch either one of them.
I watched both.
And so, regardless of...
My mom was mad at me for watching Michael.
Oh,
my mom is one of the people we're talking about. She never liked R. Kelly that much.
Also, the people who came forward about Michael said they lied. And that also came out. So, nobody has said they lied about
after
Kelly. Yes.
Michael's documentary?
Yes, the documentary that just came out, one of them confessed and said that it was not true. So my thing is, that little back and forth thing with Michael has been going on for a while. He did it, he didn't do it. He did it, they came forward, they took it back. They came forward, they took it back. I'm not sure why people are taking it back. And I'm not sure why they're even, I don't know. And I'm totally not for predators. I'm totally not for people who mistreat children and molest them and manipulate them and nothing like that. But it's funny to me that we choose to believe Michael didn't do it. But also, there's no tapes of Michael doing
What about
anything.
Mr. Cosby?
Him too.
We could throw his ass in there too.
Him too. And my thing is, why at 80? He's about to open a network. Michael Jackson was about to own Sony. I don't know what R. Kelly was about to do that was so profound, but they was just sick of his shit. They was sick.
All right, of the three, R. Kelly
and
did
Prince, and he ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
I ain't nothing about Prince, but I love Prince.
They took my dog out.
They took my dog. I love Prince.
They took him out.
R. Kelly, guilty. Cosby, I'm going with guilty. Michael, I just feel like, I don't know. With Mr. Cosby, he's admitted to this. He's admitted to drugging women before. So now, however much time they gave him, whatever. But if you did it to one woman,
however long
that's neither here nor there. But you have done it. I never saw the video, but I was in middle school when the video came out. And kids had it on their flip phones of this man pissing on a 14-year-old. Right? He married Aaliyah. when she was a wee lad. We know these things. So for me, that's enough. It's been really hard to put this together because it's just like, so this is why it's easier for us to just not care. That man got a problem.
He has good music. That's what we can chuck it up to.
I guess,
it's very catchy. Trapped in the Closet was
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Michael's is harder to.
Because he's a legend.
Not even that. I'm going based off Bill Cosby admitted to doing it before.
Yeah.
R. Kelly, you can't deny pissing on a kid. We saw you do it. We don't have any tapes.
That's what I'm
as far
saying.
as I know of Michael doing anything. And he's never admitted to, yes, one time I fucked a kid. He's never done that. So I don't know. I feel like you can't argue with what somebody said and what you're seeing. And Mr. Jackson denied that to his death. So I don't know what we feel the need to keep talking about it now.
Money off of that documentary, and the fact that they're still circulating about something that he cannot even be on trial for the umpteenth time. It's just like I'm on some kill it type shit. Like, let it go.
He can't defend it. There's nothing else left to do. Yes, I heard a lot of people were still mad at Oprah because I guess she interviewed the guys that did it, and they upset.
They're just mad because it was support in some way. You allowed them to share your platform against Michael, and that was supposed to be your best friend.
Understood.
So I get it, I guess. But that goes back to the whole favoritism situation, and I think more people don't want to believe Michael did it because of his past was so sad, and he was deprived, but he also was a musical genius, and he also did this and that for this and that. Like, I get it.
It's
his
trauma.
story
R.
is
Kelly
more heroic.
Was raped or something like that, or molested by his big sister.
But he chose to be the opposite.
And he chose to be, but that's what I'm saying. Him and Michael traumatized in some type of way as kids. And then the story on them is that they grew up to be sexual deviants in some type of way. If it can be true for R. Kelly, technically it can be true for Michael.
And my thing
agreed. I don't see it. I don't know.
I don't believe it. And I don't care who.
Me neither. Because
whatever they feel.
And Michael, and then you just got to think about it. What makes Bill Cosby out of the equation? Michael sings about We Are the World and whatever. I mean, all R. Kelly songs about fucking. The song "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number," he wrote that for Aaliyah. Maybe you do have a problem, but I don't know.
So Terry brought up a situation where he was like, in other countries you can smash a 14-year-old. Only in America is this against the law, but you go with the laws of the land that you're on. I said he should have took him to wherever to do whatever he wanted with them if that's what he wanted.
That was with it.
But no, like I said, take your little 14-year-old to wherever you want to go, where it's legal. Where we live in America, it's not. So my thing is, if you want to do what you want to do, whatever age you want to do, you go to where it's acceptable, since you just got to, because it's against the law here.
When that documentary was out and all the posts came up on, all the social media all the time, and the amount of women and men, but I saw mostly women, black women, in there. These hoes knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
These fast ass little hoes. I don't care about that bitch. And them bitches. These are 14. I believe one was 13. 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girls. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I mean,
but you're not grown up.
Yes, you're
your
just
logic
not.
Is all
so for these women, like, and all of you listening,
they were all sexually assaulted, by the way. That's just what it is. Like, people who speak out and blame the victim, something has happened to you along the way, and you are rationalizing it.
Because there's no way you can think that that's okay.
And you're normalizing it.
There's no way you can think that's okay. A young girl sitting there, right. A young girl sitting there being told by someone she idolizes, you feeling sexual, you feel like you know what you got going on, and then you got a superstar treating you like this and that, and then maybe the parents did let them stay there. When he made the conscious decision to put like his 20-something-year-old dick in a 14, 15-year-old, that's where the problem came in. I don't understand how any of you women sit there and look at that and blame the kids. Yes, they shouldn't have done it, but they're kids. They're kids. Regardless, and you literally, I wholeheartedly believe you should be ashamed of yourself. These hoes and thoughts and bitches y'all talking about are 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls.
Back to blaming the victim.
Kids.
Because it's normalized
For
in
you.
your family.
Yeah, exactly.
It's normalized. It's happened to you. You've gotten over it. You're fine. You've moved on with your life, etc. That is exactly what it possibly could be. I am not saying that this happened to you.
But you know
what I am saying is not normal.
Because
That's
what I'm thinking is, so if your 14-year-old comes to you and tells you that a 20-something, 25, 26-year-old is fucking her, what are you going, she's a hoe and she a thought too? Or are you going to feel like this man is absolutely wrong for fucking your kid? It's a kid. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what scares me in that situation. You guys are sitting here. The women that did that are just wholeheartedly against these kids and are just so shocked. And these hoes and them fast-ass girls knew what they was doing. They knew what they wanted. But if this was your little sister or this was your daughter or whatever, if this was you, because sometimes people don't realize that it was molestation until they're like 30. That shit is not supposed to happen to 14, 15-year-olds. I shouldn't be fucking a 28-year-old. Yeah. This isn't okay. So I was...
In America, I have to say that. Culturally, things are different. And if it was consent, it was consent.
There are things that happen culturally in other countries that I don't agree with.
Yeah,
so
and that's cool.
I don't think you should be fucking a 14-year-old in any country.
I don't think
I feel like they shouldn't.
But
that just shouldn't
they're
happen.
the most ripe and they're ready for childbearing. And
right.
It's for nothing else but the man's pleasure. We've heard this time and time again in different countries.
And my thing is, it's disgusting to us usually in different countries. So I'm not understanding why we're just approving of the hoes and the thoughts here. And they're like 15, but you know, what do I know, Micah? What do I know? It's disgusting. Anyway, all right. Well, this has been a solid hour. You know, I didn't mean to get so heavy on you guys this first episode. I'm gonna make the second one a little more lighthearted. We got a little deep, but you know, unfortunately, I saw that show this weekend, and we had to talk about it.
Right.
Protect your kids from people like R. Kelly.
Teach your kids respect.
Teach your kids respect.
For adults in general.
Yes.
But
teachers. That's a quick ending note. All these videos we see of high school kids being mad disrespectful to teachers. I don't even know, because I don't think it's okay for a teacher. Like, I haven't seen a teacher swing on the J. So I don't know how okay I am with that. But at the same time, how am I to tell this man if he felt like his life was in danger or not? Maybe he felt threatened.
My thing is, if you swing on somebody, be prepared to get hit regardless of who or what they are. Women included. Women
this
included.
Is true. This is true, girls. To a man, we got to keep these claws to ourselves.
And if you don't, you just need to be prepared to throw hands. It is what it is. If you want to throw that punch, child, woman, man, just be ready for the consequences that may follow. And I'm going to leave it at that. Teach your kids respect to adults. These teachers, these days who've been teaching for 40 years should not be getting any type of violence from I mean, at the least, I've been called a bitch in school twice.
As a teacher?
As a teacher, when I teach at Madison.
As a teacher,
I got cuss slap out.
Yeah, you
did. I cuss back? No,
she
because I know that this is a adolescent going through whatever, and everything is just dramatic in the end of the world. So because I know how to govern myself accordingly, I was straight. But not everybody sees children the way I see them.
No.
But my thing is, if your kid swings at somebody, I'm sorry. If an adult smacks the crap out of your kid after they hit them, bro, at this point, people be seeing red. People be blacking out. Like, you don't know what this person's going through at home. You don't know if this teacher is being
definitely, you don't know. You do not know their life.
You just don't know. And even
you don't know, baby.
You just don't know. So, please, teach your kids respect and how to handle the law. And furthermore, you need to know what the laws are in your state, in your city, so that you can protect yourself and your children.
And try to get at least basic. I'm guilty of not knowing these things either. So try to get at least basic knowledge of when somebody search your car. Everything. What you have. Any little basic knowledge you can get, and then builds upon that. And no, not because you're a criminal and blah, 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 but because you just never know. If you're black, it can happen.
It's better to know than not.
True. Who doesn't like information? You know, information is valuable. Boom. All right, guys. Well, this was it. This was the very first episode of Let Us Say It For You. Hope you learned something. If you would like to continue the discussion, please leave some comments.
Yay.
Send messages, ask questions. We'll answer them on the next episodes. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a little heavy, but we go here from time to time. So, introduction on it's not all gonna be shits and giggles. Thank you for joining us. This is Let Us Have It. What is it?
Let us have it. Jesus.
Let us say it for you.
For you.
Thank you. Bye.